Here are the two books that I speak about mostly. They're two-volume series written by Janet Travell and David Simons, Myofascial Pain and Dysfunction, the Trigger Point Manual. So Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 1 is the upper extremities, upper body, and Volume 2 is the lower body. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what's in the Volume 2 here. They break... let's see, let's get to the beginning of this. There's some great information in the start, some general information that's really helpful. They talk a lot about ischemic compression, tissues, different types of massage techniques, you name it. This is a pretty good intro. Talks a lot of medical stuff first and shows some basic techniques, but I wanted to get to the main component. They break everything into body parts. So the first one we're going to talk about is the QL, or quadratus lumborum, muscle. And they always have a cool little thing. This is called the Joker of low back pain. So cool write-up, all scientific, done years ago, but backed up by tons of science and studies. So after you read that, you get a really good graphic of that muscle. So if you look, this is the QL, a nice photo of it. Here's the hip and the ribs, the spine, and they show you the attachment on the top of the pelvis into the 12th rib and along the spine here. And you can see that the X's are trigger point pattern areas, And it's the common areas where people develop spasms or trigger points. And over here, you can see where those trigger points, in this case, where they would cause referral to. So these two potentially cause referral to this upper right quadrant of the glute and lower quadrant, You don't have to, but they can. So at times, you can feel pain on the side of your hip, like here, or lower portion here, and actually can be from those trigger points. So your lower back can be the tight area, and you can see the pattern here. So it's pretty helpful. It's another frontal view of this, really gives you a great vision of that. So they talk about different anatomical attachments and considerations and some really great visuals. It's not a inexpensive book, it's pretty expensive. I bought this, it's got to be 20 years ago, and it was $100 back then. So maybe there's some cheap sites you can get them on. I would search just on Google or something and see if you can get a deal, use one or something. Anyway, so they talk a lot about the different ligaments involved. This is still talking about the QL, but they're discussing iliolumbar ligament here, and also nerve innervations, the function of the tissue, the action. And then they go into some other areas as far as what does the spine do when certain fibers contract. This is a wonderful schematic and teaches you a lot about those areas as well. Some self-corrective motions. This is a compression motion on the pelvis, pushing the two hip bones together, having an effect. Some pain relief ideas, what to do, different types of diagnoses. Some of the postural issues that can cause the issue of trigger points in the QL. Anyway, all that and much more just with this QL portion. You notice they're showing how maybe some scoliotic patterns can be affecting this as well, and go into a little bit more as well. It's a very great explanation of many of the different body parts. Let's go into another one. This is a great one right here. So a lot of us talk about iliotibial band issues, and this is the tensor fasciae muscle, and there's also mentioning Sartorius as well. But great talk about the TFL and pain patterns. You can see TFL here, and some of the pain patterns go right to, look at that, iliotibial band. So a lot of you think you have this iliotibial band issue, and it's a trigger point up in the TFL, right above it. So sometimes you can just release that tissue and all your pain's gone here. Another great diagram on that layout of the whole leg. So it's really an overall amazing book. Learn a lot of different things from this. I highly recommend it. Here's a basic palpitation move when you're working TFL, how to find it, the two landmarks in front of the hip, and this outside part of the femur, and they basically go over those areas, how to find and describe. And they, in the past, they used to do a lot of trigger point injections. So she talks about trigger point injections and specific locations. There's also some stretching to go over with this, and then on forth to the Sartorius. So that's volume 2, and the volume 1 is just the upper extremities. So that similar kind of deal. The nice part about both of them, they show areas of your body that you could be having pain, okay, or even toothaches, and they go into those sections in the book. So you may have, this is a great one, you know, trigger points in your trapezius and you're having jaw pain or headaches in the temporal area. So it's really helpful. I highly recommend it and hope you guys purchase it or at least watch some of my videos discussing the different areas. Okay, once again, I'll leave these out so you guys can see. If you wanted to look them up, purchase them. So the Myofascial Pain and Dysfunction, Trigger Point Manuals, Volume 1, Volume 2. And it's Janet Travell, David Simons, okay? Upper body extremities, lower body extremities, and they're both wonderful. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you can. I really appreciate it.